Today we're going to take a look at a very advanced cell checker from Spektrum. It's the Smart Checker. It's the XBC100 Smart Checker / Servo driver, and it's part of the Spektrum Smart technology. So today we're going to unbox it and take a look at the XBC100. The XBC100 is very small and fits inside this box, so let's unbox it and see what else is inside with our device. So we just have our instructions. We have a screen protector. It's similar to like a smartphone screen protector. Here is our device. That is the XBC100. And then we have like a wrist leash, if you will. So let's look at the XBC100 really quickly. It has an IPS display. It's 2.4 inches across. We have 3 touch sensitive buttons here. They're not physical buttons. On the side, we have the new IC3 connector, which is of course backwards compatible with the EC3. And then here is our balance ports. The negative end of this balance port is not marked on the device, but it's at the top here in the center. That is your negative side. On this side, we have a USB port, as well as our Servo PWM port, and then a firmware port there for like a mini USB, it kind of looks like, to update the device. Dimensionally, we're about 3 inches in length with 2 1/4 in width. And then for height, it varies a little bit, but at its thickest part, it's about 3/4 inches. And then total weight is about 60 grams. You can probably tell from all the extra ports on the side of this device that it does a lot more than just check your cell voltage. We'll get into those extra features in a minute, but let's check the voltage of a pack. So we're just gonna connect in our balance lead with the negative going towards the top, and boom, we have our information. So with a standard LiPo or with a non-smart Spektrum LiPo battery, we can still get a lot of information. We have here our battery power percentage. This pack has about 79% power in it with an 8.25 total voltage, and then here are our individual cell voltages. Now what I really like about this cell voltage display is that on older or more traditional cell checkers, they display only one cell voltage at a time, and you're having to keep pressing that cell button to scroll through each cell. But on here, you can see all the cells in one place, all of them together, and that is really convenient. Let's plug in a smart battery really quick. So with using our smart battery, all we need to do is take our IC3 connector right here and plug it into the IC port on the side of our checker. And immediately our battery becomes recognized. The checker not only recognizes our overall pack voltage and power percentage, but it also tells us our temperature of the battery. This particular pack right now is 71 degrees Fahrenheit. Now if we scroll down to the next menu, you can see there's even more information. The XBC100 has picked up the parameters of the battery. It knows it's a 5,000 milliamp 2 cell, and it has the charge and discharge rates in the saved on the microchip in the battery, which is then retrieved on the cell checker. There's extra information as well that the cell checker can provide to us, like the cycle count of our battery. It's saying right now this battery pack has been cycled 7 times total. It's a fairly new pack. And then down here we have some more alarms and information that will alert you to your battery, but we don't have any alerts right now with this particular pack. But our charge and discharge settings for this particular battery can be edited right here on the checker. So when you plug your smart battery back into your smart charger, the charger will pick up those changes you made and automatically implement them. So switching back to our other non-smart battery really quick, I want to show you guys the balance function in this checker. So we have our 2-cell LiPo battery connected, and you can see our voltages are just a little out of whack. It's not too bad, but I'm just going to hit our button to go into our menu. And then the very first selection is cells balance, and then you just hit the menu button again to start, and that's gonna start the cell balancing. So the cell balancing works down to 0.005 volts accuracy. So those cells should be very balanced to each other. Now this balance function will stop on its own when it's finished, or we can manually stop it by just hitting the menu button once, and then the selection is stop. I'm gonna hit the button one more time and it stops, and you can see the color indicators here on the screen have changed too. The XBC100 can also test and drive servos, and it's really easy to do. We've just done a little switcheroo on our wiring. You have to connect a battery to the IC3 port, which we have. We have an EC3, and the EC3 and IC3 are backwards compatible. And then we have our standard Surface 10 scale size servo going into our PWM port, and that is marked with polarity. Now, in order to test our servo, we just go into our screens really quick. You can see that by default, the device is giving us our overall voltage of our 2-cell LiPo, but we're gonna hit the menu button, and then we're gonna go down to servo test. So there's 2 servo tests. There's a 1520 and a 760. The 760 is almost exclusively used for tail helicopter servos. The 1520 is going to be what most standard Surface servos are using. And that US abbreviation means microseconds, 1520 microseconds. So I'm just gonna hit start to start the process and to go into the servo test. Now, we can take manual or automatic control of our servo. We can toggle up and down. Right now, it's adjusting my center point. Right now, we're at 1565, I think that says, 1465. And the reason for that is that most servos, or I should say some servos, their center point is at 1520. And this device is putting center at 1520 by default. Now, if you have a servo that is not at 1520 by default, it may be 1500, which is just slightly off. In order to test your true center point, you'll have to put those microseconds, the US reading, at the same reading your servo is rated for. And then once you've done that, you've found the true center position for your servo, and then you can make the adjustments as you need. So for the actual servo driving function, we can just hit the menu button once and notice our milliamp draw. We just go from the extremes to center and back. Now, if we double tap on this menu button, we'll have an auto drive. And you can notice the milliamp draw change on the screen. The last feature on the XBC100 that will show for you guys is the USB port, and it's super cool. You can use the USB port to charge other devices, or you can use it to charge your Spektrum transmitter. You can do a lot with this USB port, and it's 12 volt, 2 amps. So because it's a Qualcomm 3.0 and 2.0 compatible, it can be used to fast charge devices as well, like some iOS and Android phones, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate for you guys right now. So you want to make sure you have a fully charged battery. This is just a fully charged 2-cell. I'm going to plug it in. We're at 8.39 volts, so it's pretty dang charged. And I have a standard charge cable for my cell phone. I'm going to plug that in to the USB. And then my smartphone, it's a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, just for reference. It's a USB Type-C, plugging it in. So right now my phone shows no charge state. So I'm gonna go into the XBC100, hit the menu, and then USB charge right there, you can see start. So I'm gonna hit the button one more time. And my device down at the bottom says fast charging 74%. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on the Spektrum XBC100 Smart Battery Checker, plus so much more. If you have any questions or comments for us, please leave us a comment down below. And if you'd like more information on this product, we'll have a link to shoot straight over to the AMain Hobbies website. My name is Brett with AMain Hobbies. Thanks for watching.